and I really shouldn't have. Now that I after I did it, but whatever. So got a bunch on my mind, or at least I did until I just did that dab. But so just give me a second. Might zone out for a second. Need just some time to recover from this dab. All right, so I don't have much time, but I do have like a certain topic I want to talk about. Um, and I don't have much time, so I don't really have time to like wait to see if people are gonna join the live or like say what's up. But I want to talk about. So I say it all the time that I've done DMT so many times, but I want to clarify. I've never tried 5-MeO DMT. Okay, so I've only done normal, which you can call NN-DMT. Um, and I have a weird thing where there's something I'm noticing in the world with psychedelics or something in general, right? So NN-DMT kind of took over the thing, right? With the whole spirit molecule and the spirit molecule documentary and this whole thing, right? But then 5-MeO DMT kind of hit the scene and kind of took the spot. Um, so you got a lot of people that have tried 5-MeO DMT that haven't done regular DMT. And there's just something I'm noticing with the DMT science, right? Like there's these science people. And I mentioned this yesterday, but like these DMT scientists, I didn't mention it in the video, but like these DMT scientists, right? I've seen these people kind of getting a little too obsessed or a little too whatever into this whole like they were saying you can see if you smoke DMT and you stare at a laser, you can see the code of the reality, like we're in the Matrix or something, right? And I see all these people doing this, and they're like trying it. They're saying, smoke the DMT and stare at the laser. You'll see the code, and like it reminds me of the 5-MeO DMT problem. It's that so these are people that are smoking regular DMT, like normal NN DMT, and they're gonna stare at this laser and they'll see the code of reality inside the laser. Then there's people that smoke 5-MeO DMT. They see this white, they get enveloped by this white light, like this loving white light. What I'm trying to say is, so many people prefer the shallow stuff. And like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like 5-MeO DMT, the reason why I've never tried it is because it seems like it has like a wall where it's like people talk, all I've heard, like I've heard enough experiences where all people talk about the same thing, this loving white light. But with normal DMT, I can access that same loving white light and the whole entire DMT dimension. Entities, the spirit world, Mother Ayahuasca, like this whole thing is inside of NN-DMT, but in 5-MeO DMT, it just seems to be just this loving white light experience. Now, some people have had some crazy experiences with it, but never as coherent or never as integratable as normal regular DMT. The laser problem, where people are staring at this DMT, they're smoking normal DMT and they're staring at the laser. The issue I have with that is the same type thing. It's like, okay, we see the code. Like, it reminds me of like people who trip and then stare at the visuals and they're like, ooh, the colors, the trails. And it's like, okay, that's great if that was the point, but like for being like DMT scientists or whatever, it's like, okay, ooh, you see the code of the laser. Okay, stop staring at the laser. Close your fucking eyes. Shut the fuck up. Sit in silent darkness and travel dimensions. Like, It's just this weird thing where it's like, okay, yeah, I get it, like, but hey, what's going on, Ethan? Um, Nalia Bazane, what's going on? But I don't know. I guess I just wanted to talk about this because it's like there could be so much more psychedelic progression or so much more science, like progression in general with so many things. But it's like we tend to get scared of the deeper things, like most people do. So it's like once 5-MeO DMT took the forefront, that's what people started talking about because it's a more easier experience for everyone to experience. Normal DMT is fucking shattering. And if you are not like I said, I was only doing it because I wanted to become a modern shaman. So like a normal human, just someone who's just normal, who has no idea about shamanism or doesn't give a fuck about that, they can do 5-MeO DMT, have a beautiful experience, and go back to life as if almost nothing happened, but like something did. But like, just like any scientist can smoke DMT and stare at a laser and see the code, that's not necessarily gonna drastically change the man who's seen, like, you know what I mean? As if, but if that man smoked DMT in silent darkness, then he would probably have a much more profound experience instead of just staring at a laser. And I get it, but it just kind of bothered me a little bit because it kind of made me laugh where I was like, okay, what is the point? Like, I've had many trips where I've just stared at the wall and seen the colors and the vibrant things, and that's great and all because it's good to have like an understanding and see, okay, on LSD the visuals are look like this, and on mushrooms the visuals look like this, and on whatever. But it's just okay, we've seen the code, let's move on to something else, is what I'm saying. Because it's like, now it's like every scientist has to try it, and every scientist has to do it many times to stare at the laser many times. And it's like, okay, what are we really going to get from that? Like, truly. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just saying we'd get more if they all just sat down in silence and traveled dimensions with DMT, is what I'm saying. Um, and Suravesna. These names, bro, I'll be butchering the fuck out of these. But asked, did I smoke a joint? And no, I only smoke the majority of my life. I only smoke pure cannabinoids. So like, usually just individual cannabinoids, with no terpenes. And I'm usually on an edible of them always. Like, so I'm like always microdosed on a cannabinoid, always. Um, but like I did a dab of my cannabinoid mixture before I did this. But the cannabinoids I smoke, that's another thing I want to talk about. Where it's like the cannabinoids I smoke, they tend to get me high, but not intoxicated. Because like with cannabis, like the flower, right? The weed plant has hundreds of molecules in it. But the normal person just thinks it contains THC and CBD and that's it. But no, there's hundreds of molecules inside of cannabis, and some of them get you high, just like THC. And then there's like, semi-synthetic cannabinoids like THCO, or like, there's many other things. But I tend to just smoke pure cannabinoids because that's what I've gotten into. I spent years just smoking regular weed, being high as fuck all day. But now it's like I only smoke the cannabinoids that get me high, but I still have a clear mind. Because some cannabinoids will get me high, but they cause this fogginess or this haziness in the mind. And I don't really like that. So, like, because I like to be able to flow and whatever, but I still want to be high. So, yeah. I can't even. Why do your eyes look like, and then there's a whole bunch of language I do not understand? And why do my eyes look like what? Well, because I am a little high. But I don't know what you mean by that. If you could say it in a different way. But yeah. I've been using XOXO Kev says I've been using small doses of full spectrum RSO. Oh, that's dope. Rick Simpson oil's dope. I used to do a lot of Rick Simpson oil and like kind of make my own and just do a bunch of shit like that. But like I said, just over the years, I just don't really like to be too fucked up or high, like it's like hazy or foggy. Unless it's like nighttime or some special occasion or some reason, but I gotta keep an eye on the time. But yeah. Mm. I don't know what else I wanted to mention. What's so shitty is I have like by now I probably have like 40 fucking video reminders like of make a video to remind myself to make a video about a topic that I'll be thinking about. So then I can watch the video and then be like, "Oh, I was supposed to make a video about this topic." And I went through them before I made this and I completely forgot about every other topic I was going to talk about. But any questions? Anything? Maybe if I zone out for a little bit, maybe I can rethink about what I was going to say. Bro, that's another thing. People don't zone out enough. Like, you know, in a world where we have technology, we have our cell phone, we have all this shit. People don't like give themselves time to just zone out. Like I could start staring that way and it's like everything kind of blurs out. But then as it blurs out, it gives my mind like a release of pressure or like I don't know. Which then gives me time to think. But I don't know, I guess really the only thing I really wanted to talk about was the whole psychedelic thing in the beginning. Because it's just something I'm noticing. Like I want to start calling shit out, just being real. That like cause like there's a reason I'll say like I'm the psychedelic expert, the DMT expert, and if I'm not, please point out the person who is. And it's not out of ego ever. It's just truly like I've lived this life for so long that it has nothing to do with research or science or anything. It was just life to me. So when I'm observing people and I'm like, okay, yeah, I already know we're living in the matrix. Reality is like a higher dimensional simulation and yada, yada, yada. And it's like a computer, but then it puts into question of what are computers and this whole fucking thing and this whole deep shit. But like, science would progress faster if they just went in a little deeper, you know, with less fear. Because what are we scared of, bro? Like, I don't know. You know, you're not going to die from it. So, I don't know. I do know, though, a lot of scientists are scared to be changed by it. So, like, they want to dabble with scientific research about psychedelics, but they're scared to touch it because they don't want to be affected by the psychedelics. Because, like, I'm a completely different man because of my psychedelic experiences. Yes, the change is good, right? I became a better man from my experiences. But this was intentional for me. It's what I wanted. But a scientific guy who's just researching DMT, maybe he doesn't want to become the enlightened shaman that he was meant to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the problem. You will hit a wall because you're scared to go past the wall. So then you're analyzing the thing through glass instead of touching it. But that's like trying to see what something feels like by looking at it. Like, so yeah. But I gotta get going. So, yeah. Much love to everybody.